if you're buying sex from a child, I don't care what you identify as, and I don't care what color your skin is or what nationality you are or how much money you make. I want you to go to prison. If my bill didn't target a particular sect of person, it equally across the board. It didn't matter who you were. If you wanted to buy a child for sex or sell a child for sex, I want you in prison, away from society.
Doesn't he understand that how insulting it is for gays and lesbians that he's saying that if you want to send a perpetrator or a vendor to a prison for buying a child for sex will affect negatively their communities? It's insulting.
It is insulting. And it's insulting. It was. And we had LGBTQ community, like TikTok people and, individuals like podcasters. I don't know if podcasters, but we know we had influencers is what they're called. Sorry, I'm 60. So influencers. Almost in March, yeah.
We're 4 days apart, by the way.
Are we really?
On March 14th.
Oh, I'm March 18th. But so we had them going, no, that's not, we don't want people, we don't want LGBT, if they sell a child, we want them to go to prison too, right? So there are a lot of people that think differently. I think the two major opponents that really got everybody else kind of whipped up over this whole thing to stop it, the two individuals were Scott Wiener and Aisha Wahab. They were the ones that, and it wasn't really, Scott's was about policy. Like he was really scared it was going to negatively impact people, put people in prison. He was worried about it targeting it. He really was. Scotty was really super worried about those. Aisha, it was I said you weren't getting 16 and 17-year-olds and I'm not having this conversation with you and you're not going to make it. It was more of a, because I said so, you're not doing it. She supported the policy because she's like, they should all be, she's told me they should be in prison. But because she tossed me a bone and I didn't take it and I caused an uproar over the bone she tossed me, it was more because she's like, I said so. Like a box is a box. I'm not giving you prison and you are not getting 16, 17-year-olds. And then of course, when the first partner got engaged and, obviously McCarty got engaged and the governor, she didn't have really a choice. So she had to make a deal and the deal was a wobbler. And we took what we could get at that point because we were probably, 4 days out for the session ending, and they didn't even bring that bill back to the floor because they didn't want me to talk on it till 11:50 midnight. It's over, right? And if you don't get a vote on it, it doesn't go to the governor's desk. So they held that bill. Aisha Wahab held that bill and wouldn't let it come over back to the Senate. It was on the assembly floor, and they wouldn't let it come over. Michael McGuire wouldn't. They all got together and wouldn't let it come over. And it could have died in the assembly. But I had friends on the assembly side Democrats that wanted that bill passed and didn't want it to die. So they actually were able to help push it over. But I don't think they brought it back. We didn't get its timestamp, but it was I had enough time to say SB 1414 is back on concurrence with amendments, request an aye vote. I couldn't say they destroyed it, they did this, they excluded 16 and 17-year-olds, we got them back. I couldn't do all that because there was not enough time to call the roll and get the bill off the floor to the governor's desk.
Do you care about a person's party preference? The senators, assembly members, party preference, whether they're Democrats or Republicans?
So we had, on those bills, we had 30.
You in general. Do you care? Yeah.
No. I don't look at a person's party. I really don't. I guess I'm a little more apprehensive. Like if somebody comes to me and says, if President Trump came to me and said, hey, I want to run this legislation, I'd probably say I'm all in, right? If Biden came to me, I'd say I want to see it. But I have Democrats. I've worked with Tony Atkins on Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. I worked with Scott Wiener on housing. I've worked with Democrats. I worked with Susan Rubio on domestic violence issues. I worked with the governor when President Trump was in office the first time and I was in leadership. The governor came and we were having a problem with real IDs. He knows I tell this story. Real IDs, if you lived in California, we hadn't got real IDs out through the DMV and you weren't going to be able to get on a plane because the federal government says this is the deadline. And they're like, hey, can you help? And I said, I think so. And I called my contact at the White House. Like, oh yeah, Senator Grove, what do you need? I said, I don't know what I need because I just picked up the phone and called and they're sitting right there and they're like 3 months. And I'm like, I need 6 months because there's no way they're going to do it in 3 months. And he says, sure, where do you want me to send or have somebody call? And they're trying to rattle off a number, and I gave him mine. Just call me. Just give my cell phone number. So by the end of the day, we had it solved. We had a 6-month extension. It was not a big deal. And then so that worked. We worked across to save the angst of Californians not being able to get on a plane. There was a lady named Isabel Bueso, a young girl that came to me. She has what they call Lammy syndrome. And she couldn't be deported. They don't have the medical technology to save her life, and her visa was running out. And
what country?
I don't remember what country. This is in 2014. And
But this hemisphere or Eastern Hemisphere?
Eastern Hemisphere. So she came with her parents and her advocate, and I connected her to then Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who worked to keep her in the States so that she could receive the treatment that she needed, right? So it was a Democrat that brought that to me, but it was the right thing to do for that person and the right thing to do for others. And then a couple of days later, they came back up and they go, hey, we got this idea. And I'm like, hell no. No way. No way. I'm not helping you with that. No, but I understand. You don't got to explain it to me. There's no way I'm touching that with a 10-foot pole. So they get me because I'm kind of just straightforward, not black and white, but I look at things like even I have the people on the right, no men in prison, women's prisons, but there is a type of man that is a biological man, but you would not know that. And that person is being brutalized, just like I said earlier. Mm-hmm. There has to be a safe place for them too. Like it has to be safe.
What's the solution?
So the solution that we have in county jails, which I wish they would adopt in California in the prison system, which Scott Wiener is adamantly against and will kill, is that in the dormitories and the showers, it's biological females and biological males, no matter how transitioned you are, right?
Okay, but how do you define gender then? By chromosomes?
No, if you are a biological male, if you have biological male parts, then you are male over here,
okay.
And then the women are over here. Now, the way we do it in county jails is that transgender women, the men that are transitioning to women, so transgender women can go to county jails that are housed with women, but they don't sleep in the same dormitory. So women, what is the word? Real women. I'm going to say real women because I don't remember the word that what they call women. It's a new term now. Mm-hmm. Says women or something like that. Anyway, cis women. And I'm like, what's that? That's what you are. And I'm like, no, I'm a real woman. So, it's just this verbiage that you have to try to get used to that I probably won't ever get used to. But so you have real women that are in prison in dorms that sleep here, that shower here, and then you have trans women that are still in the women's prison, not being brutalized by the males. Correct. In real prison, mm-hmm. in men's prisons, but they sleep and shower over here. They're different autonomy, different body parts, the whole bit. So there's privacy and protection, and there's those. But when you go to class or rehabilitation services, when there's guards present in the daytime or you go eat lunch, you're together. So that's a solution that's much better than what we have now. Right now, Scott Wiener's bill gave you a preference. As if you, not you, but a trans woman, a man, gave a man saying they're a woman, gave them a preference. So could you just imagine this guy walking down the thing and seeing this real pretty prison inmate, like, I'm picking her room. And she has no right to say no. Because he has a preference in where he chooses to be. Because I am a male. Because he identifies as a woman.
And I have these two cojones.
Yes. So we want to take away the preference, and we want to make sure that women, real women and trans women, real trans women, are safe when they sleep, safe in the home environment. But definitely there's no mixture when they sleep or when they shower or use the bathroom. But go down to the day room and have lunch.
Trans people. Were they here, let's say, 20 years ago?
I don't know. I didn't know of them.
So they suddenly occurred.
Well, when I was in school, so I'm 60, we just almost 60, 4 days apart.
I'm almost 60 as well.
Okay, so when I went to school, I don't ever remember anything like that. But I do have somebody that I did go to school with all the way through grade school now who is married to another woman. And it's on Facebook. They live in Texas or Louisiana or something.
But they're gays. Or lesbians.
Yes, they are. Lesbians or gays. Yes, you're
right. I'm talking about trans.
Right. No, I did not have that. I did not know of that. So I was not aware of that.
What the extreme left say about that? Trans people always were here, but they were hiding? Or they just kind of occurred in the last decade?
I haven't had that conversation with any of my colleagues.
But it feels like there were no trans people at all, like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know of any, and I never was around any. And I grew up in Arvin and Bakersfield, and I was in the military overseas in Germany. I don't even remember. I was in Germany for 2 years. I didn't ever remember seeing anything like that in Germany.
So the question with the prisons and jails with the trans people, it's a new thing. So it means that 20 years ago,
paying for sex change operations by taxpayer dollars.
So 20 years ago, that wasn't a thing.
20 years ago, you did
It means
not do
something
that.
has changed.
Something
Just like the
changed.
homeless, right? The first time I got to the U.S., I visited Los Angeles in 2018. We went and lived for a week in Venice Beach.
Okay.
So Venice had some homeless.
But not like now.
But not like now. So something has changed. Can you reverse